cosmic tales unfold. Join Power Maximus, Lord Triage, and the Prince of Desolation on a journey through heroic realms where legends are born and destinies entwine. Delve into the cosmic currents, unraveling the mysteries of superheroes, villains, and champions. Embrace the cosmic energy that binds us all, and let your journey begin. This is the Super Breakdown Podcast. Enter the Cosmic Saga.
Oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that? We're back. Again. Oh, how great is it to be back? Welcome to another episode of Super Breakdown. I'm Power Maximus. We're here with Lord Triage as always, and our game master, the Prince of Desolation. What is up? What is up? What is up, peoples? How's it been? How's it been? I know it's only been, well, Prince has been 2 weeks. Or at least 1 week every other week. It's been 2 weeks. Triage, how's your week been, brother?
It's been very colorful, I'll tell you that much.
Well then, that sounds colorful. Trust me, I feel that my week has been it's been rough. This weekend I just celebrated the fiance's birthday as well as our for the 3rd anniversary of being engaged. We are working on getting married. But yeah, so celebrate anniversary, celebrate birthday this weekend. Been working on some things, building and growing. But yeah, shit. Deso, what's been up with you, man?
Nothing too much. Not much.
Yeah, it's been one of those weeks. Now, before we get into what we're supposed to be getting into today, this has been, in the words of Triage, a very colorful week. Within the nerd community, the blurred community, and in hip hop and pop culture, there's been a lot going on. So first and foremost, let's just give a quick talk about this Drake and Kendrick rap beef that going on right now. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Like, I haven't seen a rap beef this messy since 50 and Ja Rule. And before that, M and Benzino. And then before that, the East Coast, West Coast. Like, wow. I'd have to say, everything that's going on. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, as far as I'm concerned, Aubrey is punching above his weight class.
Oh, absolutely.
Hell yeah, he is.
Absolutely. It's like the apprentice and decided to take on the master before they was ready.
That's your ass, Mr. Postman.
Yo, so now, from what I'm seeing, like, all this shit started because J. Cole, well, I mean, first off, Kung Fu Kenny, and I'm gonna call him the Drizzler. Yeah, Kung Fu Kenny and the Drizzler they've been like silently beefing for a minute. They never liked each other. They don't like, so that's always been a known fact. From Kendrick on Control to his BET cipher, he made it loud and clear that he don't really fuck with Drake. But this is different. Like before, it felt like that shit was just like, I don't like your music. But now this shit's personal. This is some personal shit going on right now.
Well, my whole thing with the controller thing, and everyone talks about that, is one of my big issues just overall is that there is no competitive spirit. There's no more Mamba mentality.
True.
Like, we've been celebrating mediocrity so long and celebrating those who just get there opposed to actually achieving the final form. Like, I just don't get it. Between fucking music to sports to culture to everything. It's just like, I'm over this whole thing about how there's no more competitive spirit. Like, I get it when it comes to like fighters. Like, most people, you have to beat them before you get their respect or hold your own with them.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole thing between these two, I'm not gonna lie. Does Drake have better music? Not in my opinion.
Nor in
I'm not a
mine.
big I'm not a big fan of Drake. I don't really care. I really don't care. I really don't care for his music. I really don't. But I don't get the whole idea of everyone saying how Kendrick is the bad guy for acknowledging the fact that he wants to be he wants to be the best. Like, he's basically said that with Controller, that I'm trying to murder all my competition, but that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yep. Very true. I mean, and that's always been like that, because that in hip hop in general, within the culture, that's always been the thing.
It's about sport.
What was that?
Hip hop's a sport.
It is. And if you ain't got the hops for it, you don't be in it, because that's what it's supposed to be. There's supposed to be that one person that, because this has always happened. We've seen it time and time again throughout hip hop history. Hip hop starts to get complacent. You know what I mean? Oh, this is working, so we're not gonna fuck around. We're not gonna change the status quo. We making money. But there's always that one person that steps in and changes the game. It forces the rest of the artists to step their shit up. And then it goes back to that moment, that time of complacency. And then it restarts again. Somebody's like, I don't like what's going on. I'm gonna step in, I'm gonna make a change. And that was what Control was supposed to be. And it worked. It definitely did work. But like his BET cipher and Control, that's one thing. And to motivate the culture a little bit more. That's one thing. But this shit right here, nigga, this shit's personal. And it all started like it's personal now, but it seemed like it started out as, Kendrick repeating himself like, listen, y'all cool and shit, nigga, but don't forget, I'm trying to be the best. I may have took a little break, but nigga, I'm still here. So from my understanding, he didn't like J. Cole saying that all three of them are equal and all three of them are the best of what we got going on. Personally, again, I agree with Triage. I'm not a big Drake fan. I was a fan of his early stuff when he first came out, but anything after that, like I feel like anything after like that kind of like success motto, or successful motto, fuck, what was the other one? Um, I feel like I stopped being a fan around the time of Started from the Bottom. So I'm not gonna say like I'm a fan of Drake because I'm not, but I could confidently say yeah they are the big three currently now within the industry. J. Cole, yeah, and I'm talking, and I put Drake in there because of analytically the numbers, based off numbers.
Man, listen, the numbers and everything is cute and all. So there was this whole thing I just saw not too long ago where the game was talking about Eminem. And he was talking about how when you take somebody and you give them the right kind of backing and you put the right kind of money behind them and you put them on a certain platform, it's going to draw attention. Like, you look at Lil Wayne, look at quote unquote Young Money on where they were at that period of time when like every girl in the world came out. There was what? A good 10, 12 of them. And the only two that are actually even still around are like
True.
Nicki and Drake. So it's like they got the backing put behind them to quote unquote do what they did. And don't get me wrong, there's catchy music here and there, but it's like I want my shitties to have a little bit more substance to it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where I'm at. I felt like after around that time of Started from the Bottom, like there was no substance in his music. Like Best I Ever Had, shit like that. That shit resonated with me and it had substance because I was in that era as well. You know what I mean? Trying to find the best girl for me, shit like that. Like that shit had substance. This shit does not. So I will only put Drake up there in the big three purely based off the analytics, purely based off the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with Cole. They are the big three right now, but they're the big three, each one of them for different reasons. So Drake said they the big three. Kendrick's like the fuck you. Well, to quote Kendrick, fuck the big three. It's just big me. He didn't like that. He didn't like being put into a group. It's like, nah, nigga, I'm out here doing my shit. I'm better than y'all. Cause he already said that. He's like, we're cool. We're people and shit like that, at least to Cole. But when it comes to this music shit, no. You got
Right.
it. No. You got it. This is our livelihood right here. And only the best of the best are the ones that make money and survive. So you gotta be the best of the best. And I'm here to take it all.
Right.
And then as
You
you
seen the last
saw, Cole responded to that. What happened?
I said you've seen the Last Dragon, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Prince, you've seen it also, correct?
Yep.
Right. So I saw these cats. They were talking about that whole movie. And they were like, how Show Enough gets labeled the bully, and it's like how what if he's not necessarily the bully? What if he just has such a respect for his craft? He wants to be acknowledged as the best. How would you feel that if you were someone who took so much respect, so much time, put so much effort into your craft, and then every time you turned around, your name was mentioned with someone else who you know for a fact you are better than.
No, absolutely. No, absolutely. I'd feel the exact same way. Like, hey, yo, don't roll me in with this nigga. I'm bigger. I'm better. I've worked harder. I've worked longer. Don't besmirch the work that I put in by putting me in with somebody who just got here. Who ain't put in that who ain't got that court time. You know what I mean? Who ain't putting up the numbers that I've been putting up. Don't do that. I get that. I definitely do get that. So I'll say that I'm 100% on K Dot side. 100% I'm on K Dot side. And then so like I said, I feel like this went from who can be the best rapper, J. Cole dropped his shit, which I feel like I haven't heard a J. Cole flop. I haven't heard of J. Cole flop at all.
Well, the thing with J. Cole is that a lot of people feel like he doesn't have that quote unquote classic album. He doesn't have America's Most Wanted. He doesn't have an Illmatic. He doesn't have a Doggy Style. He doesn't have a Good Kid, Mad City.
Chronic.
Now,
Yeah.
Forest Hills, KOD, I'd make those arguments for those albums, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm. Same.
But my thing with these people, with this is that with these artists is that, like, once again, I said it before and I'll say it again. It takes a certain level of intelligence, awareness, and know how to like their music.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I was just like me. I was never a big Pop Smoke fan. Like, everyone loved his shit, this, that, and the third, but it's like, to me, he lacked the substance. What is he saying?
Yeah, I agree. I didn't become a Pop fan until after he passed away. But and then the reason I became a fan is because I heard a few songs and I saw the potential that he had to become better. And then when I learned how young he was, I'm like, oh man, this dude had years to grow as an artist. And that's what ended up making me a fan, because like I saw the potential that he had, and then the fact that he was about to really start cracking down with doing a lot of work with 50. I was about to say, yeah, hell yeah. To me, he had a lot of potential. But again, like you said, what he had didn't really have much substance to it. And I don't know. I just feel like so Deso had we had talked about this a few weeks ago, like before shit got as crazy as it has now. We talked about this, and I was like, I'm not really paying no mind to it. I don't like I feel like the reason that it started was not really the best reason to really be beefing, shit like that. Nigga gave you a compliment, you didn't like it, whatever. You felt like it was backhanded. It was so the start of rap beef over it. I just wasn't with it until all the last few tracks came out, and I listened. I'm like, oh, nah, this shit's getting personal now. It's not about I'm a better rapper. Now it's about, nigga, I'm a better human being than you. Like, J. Cole dropped his shit and then apologized for his shit, which I felt was weird, but I understood at the same time. I understood what he was saying. He was like, yo, listen, me and K-Dot, I respect you as a brother and shit like that. He's not, he doesn't want the rap shit to fuck up the personal relationship that they got. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna fall back.
That, and the whole thing was like, people talk about this too, like, if you and me have a falling out and you start doing stuff that I respond to, that brings me out of my character, whether it's the way I walk, the way I talk, how I speak about you as a person, as a human being, where you've gone in your life, what you've done, you changed me because you brought me out of my character. So by bringing me out of my character, you've won.
Yeah.
So I think that's where a big part of that came from. I think it's one of those things where Cole was like, yo, I don't like the way this whole thing's going. Like, And here's another thing with the environment they work in the industry in, like for him to make a public apology, that takes a very big person to do that. But
It definitely does.
everyone's like, oh no, that's soft, that's bitch made, that's this, that, and the third. He still let it be known though, like nigga, you jab me in the mouth lyrically, nigga, I'm okay with hitting you back, but I don't want to do that. That's
Yeah,
like
that's not me.
that's like you getting into a physical altercation with someone, you defending yourself, and then being like, yo, look, man, I'm not trying to hurt you. I really don't want to fight. But you keep pulling choke on the chainsaw, nigga, the choke on the chainsaw, you better hold the fuck on.
No, yeah, absolutely. And so I definitely, I personally like. And at first I was like, that's weird, but then I was like, all right, I get it. You know, that's never been J. Cole. That's never been him. Even with let's see, what album was it? False Prophets. No. It was on Middle Child. Um, was it Middle Child? Fuck. It was. I think it was definitely from Off Season. He even said, he's like, you know, I'm not with the beef. I'm never gonna, you know, come at nobody's head over no dumb shit, over over no like simple fucking money shit. I'm not gonna do nothing because niggas stepped in my lane for any reason. You know, if I beef with somebody, it's gonna be over some serious shit. And if it's really that serious over some serious shit, then nigga, we ain't gonna be writing. We gonna be fighting.
What was it, 1985? The one
So
song
he
he
already
ended
put it
POD
out there
with?
that, was it that one? No, it was definitely off Season.
Mm. But no, I think but he did something similar. I remember if he ends
I think it was
KOD.
Middle Child. I'm all right, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go back and listen. But yeah, he already put it out there that, yo, he's not like that. That's not his shit. You know, that's not his vibe. And you know, people got to respect that. You know, just because because we're used to rappers being like, oh, you talk shit about me, or I'm gonna talk shit about you. And you know, and a lot of it end up being just for the clout of it. But that's it. But we got to understand that these people are still people underneath all the music and shit. And we're used to these artists and rappers and fuck celebrities in a whole, like not acting as if they're just regular people. You know what I mean? They will throw the morals and their own personality aside to put on this facade and aesthetic that is people pleasing. So we're not used to seeing somebody that's like, nah, nigga, I'm not with that shit. All right, yeah, no, I'm a rapper, but I'm not with that shit. You know what I mean? Um, but this nigga Cole has been quiet through everything that's been going on. After he apologized, my guy just faded to the black, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna let y'all hash that shit out. And I feel like shit really got to where it is now because while Kendrick was keeping the shit 100 and for the music, Drake had to decide just to start talking about families, start calling people's the old family members out by name. And to me, that's like a golden rule of hip hop. You can beef with somebody all you want, but it's between you and them. You don't talk shit about dead homies. You don't talk shit about family members, and you most definitely don't talk about nobody's kids.
Mm-hmm.
You saw what happened the last time somebody decided to talk about somebody's kids. Shit got crazy.
Yeah.
Eminem got a whole song called Soldier about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh shit! Well, look what happened between him and MGK. This nigga banned MGK from his whole from the whole thing, from being anything that has to do with Aftermath, Shade, the Shade Room, or any of that. Shady 45, any of that shit.
Yo, hot take.
Yeah,
I have never ever once listened to Machine Gun Kelly.
that's not a hot take. I'd say a hot take would be you saying, "Oh, I really fucks with Machine Gun Kelly. I really think he's awesome and amazing and great."
It's changed genres of music, man.
Now I will hit you with a hot take. I actually like Machine Gun Kelly. I actually like his music, both his rock stuff and his rap stuff. And I'm not gonna say that he changed genres because that was always him in general. You know, even if you look at his rap stuff, he always had an essence of a rock star in his music and in his music videos. Majority of the instrumentals that he wrote to, he played guitar on a lot of those. You know what I mean? So he's always been like a kind of rocker that rapped. So me personally, I'm not gonna say he's nowhere near better than Eminem or any of that shit. So on that beef, I'm gonna say Machine Gun Kelly was in the right because Eminem said some old wild women. I feel like Eminem was in the wrong for saying what he said about the young kids and shit like that. And Machine Gun Kelly made it clear in his track saying like, "Yo, bro, like you're dissing all these young kids when in reality you should be trying to mentor them. You just got them out here hanging and shit like that and you want to talk shit about their music and shit, but you as an OG aren't doing your part as an OG to mentor these new artists to help them be on a better level and have that substance, have that creativity, have the ingenuity to make a difference within the hip hop culture. Yet you want to sit there and talk shit about them, but you're not doing anything to help or fix them." That's what MGK said. And he didn't use any double entendre with it. He didn't use any metaphors or similes with it. He openly said, "This generation of rappers are pretty much your grandkids. They're your kids, your grandkids. These motherfuckers grew up listening to you. So you, as an OG in the industry, have that responsibility to guide them. And you ain't doing that, yet you're mad that they ain't doing well and that they're fucking up the game, yet you didn't do anything to stop them from fucking up the game, to help them or guide them." So that's a hot take. I'm on the side of MGK in that rap beef. Although I'm an Eminem fan, but I'm on the side of MGK with that one. But with this one, I'm on the side of Kendrick on this one. Because it's like, hold on. I was trying to do some fun shit, try to beef up the fucking community that we had. You took that shit way too seriously and started talking about the nigga's uncle, talked about his wife, said he beats his wife, talking about he ain't a good father to his kids.
One kid ain't his.
Isn't Kendrick? What happened?
This is one of his kids ain't his. His bodyguard, his wife's bodyguard's kid.
Yeah. And it's like, whoa. All right, you're getting a little too big for your britches there, nigga. Like, we don't do that over here. And so Kendrick had to lay it on him. And he's been continuously laying it on him. I'm sorry. At this point, this nigga Kendrick's in a body. I'm sorry. This nigga Drake is in a body bag to me. His career's in a body bag. What you think, Dessa?
Yeah, same.
Like, I don't know. Because you're a big hip hop head too. How do you feel like how do you feel like this is going to impact the industry going forward?
Well, one career is dead. We know that.
Yeah.
If the shit that Kendrick said is true,
But
his
as in like
career is donezo.
yeah,
And
shit, not just his, but a lot of others too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I, as a public opinion, because we don't play that pedophile shit.
Listen, man, Nicki Minaj just had a whole sold out concert. They still ain't catch Diddy. Women still play R. Kelly's music. I don't want to hear that because it's still going to be a thing until it's not.
Yeah. That's fuck yeah. That's a very, very unfortunate fact. That's a very, very unfortunate fact. Damn. But I definitely agree that so like we don't play that pedophile shit over here. Personally, nah, hell no. I don't listen to any R. Kelly music anymore. More so also just because like one, I also don't I'm not in that that era no more. Because also knowing what I know now, it's hard to listen to R. Kelly's music and be like, oh yeah, because now you got exactly. Now you're questioning what the fuck is he talking about when he says I want your body on my body. Who are you talking to? Did you check her ID? How old is she? Is that champagne in the glass or piss?
Said that is
Like
piss.
it
This
really
would think. Looks
like
like piss. Smells like piss.
why is the piss bubbling? What did you do? What have you been drinking? What have you been eating? Are you healthy, nigga? Why is your piss bubbling like champagne? Like, no, absolutely. But and again, the allegations that Kendrick dropped about Drake's camp being a bunch of pedophiles and shit like that, I personally don't know anything. I haven't done my research just yet about what's going on within his camp, but at the same time, I feel like those niggas are insignificant. They ain't doing shit. They insignificant. But this nigga Drake dancing on a minor, that's out of pocket. That's completely out of pocket. Said this nigga was perks, popping perks. Like he said he got a gambling addiction, alcohol addiction, drug addiction. Like I'm like, yo, like, but again, this is what happens when you break the golden rule. All gloves are off. All fucking gloves are off. The rules go out of the window. This is a no holds bar. Anything goes. There's no disqualifications on this match. This is bare knuckles now. This nigga Kendrick turned around and was like, oh. Like, I feel like this nigga Kendrick was on the fucking on Shauna Marlon Wayne's white chick type shit. Oh, you wanna talk about mamas? And just fucking proceeded to just go ham. This nigga started the track. He started Euphoria off with Dear Adonis. And proceeded to say your daddy.
Meet the Grams. Meet the Grams.
Oh, Meet the Grams. I'm sorry. I don't. Sorry, not Euphoria. Meet the Grams. Euphoria was still fucking wild. I'm sorry. Yeah, but Meet the Grams started that shit off with Dear Adonis, and it proceeded to tell him your father is a piece of shit. If you need a new daddy, I'm right here. If you don't believe me, Play this song when you're 18. Give me a call. Bro. This nigga said, fuck Goku, I'll be Piccolo for you. Don't worry. I'll take you in, Gohan. I'll take you in. I'll take care of you, Gohan. I'll train you. I'll show you how to be a good man. Clearly, your daddy can't do it. Then proceeded in the next verse to tell Drake's mother, you raised a piece of shit. Your child has failed you. He is a horrible human being. You raised a horrible human being. You fucked up. You did a bad job. Then in the next verse proceeds to talk to Drake's mysterious, unnamed daughter. But then Drake went back and was like, "Oh, that's just that was a lie that I put out there to give him false information." What type of shit is that? When has that ever happened? When has that shit ever happened? Niggas intentionally putting out false information to pretty much
just sounds crazy.
Yeah, that sounds like
bullshit to me.
Yeah, it sounds like that the nigga that you're going up against is better than you. So you're cutting the brakes on his car. It's like you're in a race and the car next to you is faster to you, so you're siphoned half the gas away. You're trying to not play fair when you're the one that started that started not playing fair. Like, come on now. Stop being a bitch. To me, that's some bitch ass shit right there.
I think he just did that to save face, say the honest truth, but he didn't want to get caught. He didn't want to get caught again, and it was pants down.
No, absolutely. I feel like it was definitely something to try to save face, but in reality, all he did was make himself look like even more of a bitch for trying to cripple his competition. But to me, there ain't no competition. Kendrick is just a better lyricist and a better all-around artist. So for me, when I talk about artists, I'm talking about album concept. Album concept. Well, to me, one second, Wes. To me, none of Drake's albums have any concept to it. But you look at Kendrick, all his albums have Kendrick and Cole, all their albums have a concept, i.e., To Pimp a Butterfly. To me, I feel like I was one of Kendrick's best albums. Oh, sorry. What were you going to say, Triage?
The thing that did it for me that put all this shit in perspective was I saw a meme a few years back where it was Mount Rushmore, and people kept doing the Mount Rushmore for the decade or for the era or for the certain area. So like the one I kept seeing was from 2010 to 2020, and it was Drake, Cole, Kendrick, and then they were like, you got to fill in the fourth spot. Most people said Big Sean.
Mm-hmm.
And I would give the fourth spot to Big Sean. And then, in my honest opinion, this is just me, a hot take, I would switch Drake for Joyner Lucas or Nipsey Hussle.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I agree. 100%.
That's just me. But I was reading the comments for that same picture, and the one dude said the thing that puts this in perspective for me is that if you look at the timeline for the albums, they were like how Drake is somewhere singing about Kiki. Meanwhile, Kendrick Lamar's talking about how the country's a goddamn mess with the damn album, and then J. Cole's talking about addiction with KOD.
Damn. Excuse me. Wow. Yeah, that's shit. Damn, yeah, I'm speechless on that. That's fucking solid. That's a very fucking solid point. And what was like I don't know. I personally my Mount Rushmore is most definitely Kendrick and Cole off rip. Kendrick and Cole. For me, I appreciate Joey Badass. I appreciate Joey Badass very much so.
Okay.
And then from that time in that time period, yeah, I'll definitely I'll throw Big Sean up there, or again swap they vice versa, swap in and out for Joyner Lucas. What about you, Triage?
I agree. I think it's, in my opinion, from 2010 to 2020, or even to now, I would definitely keep Cole Kendrick. I would take Big Sean, and I would probably definitely end with Joyner Lucas or Dave East. He's another one too.
Mm-hmm. That's so. What about you?
Huh?
Your Mount Rushmore top 4 from 2010 to 2020. Music artists, hip hop artists.
I don't got Mount Rushmore in that era. I do not.
All right. That also makes sense because your music preference is also everywhere. You have a very, 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 very large music preference. So, no, I just feel like this whole rap beef, this shit has blown the fuck up, and then I feel like this nigga Drake has opened up a can of fucking worms. He's opened Pandora's box, and you can't put it. You can't put it back. Can't put it back. Yep, he's fucked up. He fucked up. He done woken the beast. You can't. You can't. Once you let the genie out the bottle, he let the genie out the bottle. And I feel like Kendrick's about to let the cat out the bag. He's been doing it slowly. Each track, he's dropping more and more info that he has on Drake in his camp.
Listen,
and he said in the last track that he got way more.
What he's about to do is put that light skinned cat in the bag and throw it in the fucking river.
Yep.
Did he already do that already though?
Nah, he hasn't. I think he's just showing everyone he's got the cat and the bag.
I feel like he's definitely about to live up to his words in that BAT cipher. He's about to tuck a sensitive ass rapper back in the shirt. He's about to tuck him.
Ha ha! Jokes on you. Ha ha! I'm bulletproof.
I'm bulletproof. Oh man, but yo, all right. So let's say all right. So before we take this quick break, X-Men 97 episode 8. Let's do a quick rundown on that. What are our feelings on that shit?
Holy shit.
Listen, man.
I concur.
This is grade A storytelling. I'm buckled the fuck in. I can't wait to see what happens next. I've been on the edge of my chair this whole fucking time.
It's dead ass. He's, Wolverine said it himself. He's like, I can't believe it. Kurt's like, yeah, so many of our people are hurt. Dimension destroyed. He's like, no, this thing, Magneto, he's officially declared war. I never thought it would happen. He officially declared war.
That nigga
honestly, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That nigga told them what type of time it was, what he was on, what was going to happen. He literally said, "Don't make me let Charles Xavier's memory down." And here we are.
Yeah, he said, don't make me let you down. And exactly, he did exactly what he said. And I really feel like he was really trying. He was really trying. He was battling with himself, like, damn, don't want to fuck these niggas up. Do I want to give them a chance? You know what? I'm gonna give them the chance. I'm gonna give them a shot. And then it immediately fucking blew up in his fucking face. So he's pissed. He's like, y'all made me look fucking stupid. You made me go against my own my instinct. My gut was telling me not to trust y'all niggas, but I went against my gut. And now look, too many of my people are dead because of my decision. Because I trusted you. Nah, never again. No more. It's on and it's popping now. Hot take. I blame Charles.
So, once again, I said it before, I'll say it again. As a kid, you want to be a part of the X-Men. As an adult, I'm joining the Brotherhood.
No, absolutely.
You can't have this person who lived this lavish life, who's done all these things, who's a pacifist, who doesn't want to fight. I mean, I get it, I do, but I can't co-sign that fuckery, man. I can't. Like, and I'm not saying because of the horrors that Magneto suffered in his youth makes some of the shit he does okay. I'm not saying that, but it makes it to the point where it's like, yo, I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war zone. Fuckers go ahead and hope for the best. I'm going to prepare for the worst. So when the shit hits the fan, I'm going to be like, I told you so. I'm going to buckle the fuck down and I'm going to take care of mine. And for whatever reason, no one's ever seemed to want to be okay with the fact that he was right in what he said and what happened.
Absolutely. He was 100% right. And I feel like it hits too close to home for certain people to agree with him. Because the reality of the situation is, if we, you know what I mean by we, was on that same type of timing, it would be the end of their world. Magneto has every fucking right to be pissed off. He was persecuted as a child because of his religion or what or who he was born, or like what religion or ethnicity he was born into. His parents. So this is double time for him. This is double time. This nigga's going on PTSD mode right now. His people, when he was younger, was persecuted and mass murdered. Complete genocide. And now he's having to live through it again. He got every right to be like, you know what? Never again.
This time, motherfucker.
Never the fuck again. The first time, exactly.
First time
he's like, the first time I didn't have the power to. Yeah, exactly. God damn, he took the words out of my mouth. Took the words out of my mouth right there. It's like but now this shit's happening when I got the power to do something about it. Hell no. Hell fucking no. Will not let it happen again. Not on my watch. You're already done fucked up in the first place. Yeah, no. Nope. Kind of find out it was a whole plan from the beginning. It wasn't somebody just would have been dead just to try to do some shit. Nah, you was a part of it. And the fact is, the human bitch was in on it the whole time. She gained his trust.
Hold on. Let's talk about that real quick. Let's look at these fuckers who are actually involved. We got Doom, who's a fucking sovereign and king of his whole own empire. Zemo.
Yeah, even Doom. We know Doom's a goon, and even he looked at Bastion like, really, nigga? I don't get it fucked up. I'm down for war and I'm down for fucking shit up, but I'm not down for genocide. When Doom says you've gone too far, you've gone too fucking far.
Yeah, he basically told him like, nigga, you're tacky, stop it.
Mm-hmm. And then Zemo, tell him about Zemo.
And this nigga, listen, man, forget what you're seeing with the MCU, all right? Zemo in the comics is a whole racist. Like he's one of the heads of Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
So if this fucker's involved, I can only imagine where this shit's going. And then let's not forget the chick, the blonde chick. She has a fucking seat in Congress.
The government.
She's in the UN. She's in the UN.
Excuse me, the UN. Excuse me. Like she has a whole seat with the UN. So so you're trying to tell me that this whole thing was multiple people in multiple positions of power who were just rocking this bowl to tip it over?
Yeah, every last one of y'all were conspiring to fuck me. Yeah, no. Nuking everything. Everything getting nuked. Let me show y'all how it feels to be persecuted, oppressed, and mass murdered. Let me show you how it feels for once. Like Genosha was an island full of innocent mutants that just wanted to have a better life. You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like Black Wall Street to me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is a perfect time to let Power Farrakhan come out.
By all means. By all means.
Now hear me, my brothers and sisters, and everyone in between. You know, because I gotta include everybody, because everyone being oppressed. If this shit don't piss you off, if this shit does not hit a nerve in you, and now I'm talking to all my people of color. And when I say color, I'm not just talking about brown. I'm talking about that rainbow too. I'm talking about y'all out there as well, because y'all been oppressed. Y'all chemically castrated, shit like that. Blah, blah, blah. Y'all been through some shit too. I'm talking to the Jewish people out there too. Any group of people where your history been oppressed, has been filled with murder and bloodshed, when all you wanted to do was live a happy life, this episode should piss you off. Because it shows that people in power continuously conspire against our happiness and our growth, because it does not fit within their idea of a perfect world. One moment, let me take a sip of the yak again. Shout out to Svetka. This vodka is actually pretty damn good. Certain flavors are good. It's low shelf. It's bottom shelf. Your boy type broke. But no, yeah. If this don't piss you off, you gotta rethink shit. All those mutants on Genosha wanted to do was live in a place where they could be free, where they can use their powers how they wanted to help each other, to grow each other, and to raise families and shit like that. And that's exactly what Black Wall Street was. It was a for us, by us type situation. For us, by us. And they absolutely destroyed it. They are currently building a fucking theme park on Lake Lanier. For those of you who don't know, what lies underneath Lake Lanier is a once prosperous black town. Lake Lanier is a man-made lake. And guess what man made that lake? They did not look like us. They did not look like us.
Mm.
They're that pisses me off. They are building a water park on Lake Lanier. Where people can play, have fun, and have a good time, while the fruits of black labor were buried under it. There's still buildings, houses. There is a whole town underneath that shit, man. Look at Tulsa. Black Wall Street got bombed and burned to the ground. And all they wanted was peace and prosperity that everyone else had.
Mm-hmm.
And now look at Genosha. Art imitates reality. And that's why I said the shit's hitting a little too close to home for some people. Art imitates reality. Big time. Now, we're going to take a quick break real quick. We're going to come back, and now we're going to get on and actually, crack down on Starkiller. Anybody else got any other words on this last episode before we take a break?
That for whatever reason, I want all the ignorant masses to understand something very simple. You should never wound something you cannot kill. They literally tried to put someone in chains and cripple someone who had enough power to cause a blackout on the entire planet. Not just in a city, not just in a state, not just in a country.
The entire
planet.
This man, and he knew, he went to the North Pole. He went. I don't know if it was a North Pole, but it was one of the poles where the magnetism is the strongest. It's the origin of the world's magnetic sphere, and set off a fucking EMP so big that it wiped out all electronics on the entire planet. Deso, any final words on X-Men 97 episode 8?
Nope.
All right, we'll be right back when we hear from some of our really awesome podcast friends who are doing amazing things within the Blurred community. Let's hear what they got to say.
Going on, everybody, Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we'd like to introduce you guys to our show, The Indie Breakdown, a show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an eventual indie versus matchup. All Indie Breakdown episodes go live first on Spotify and on Patreon, with them eventually showing up on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out The Indie Breakdown and learn more from your favorite indie comic book creators, now's the time to do so. We hope you guys decide to tune in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.
Hi, I go by Lady Mandalore, the creator of Roomful of Blurs. Do you have a whiteboard in your room? Do people get a glazed over look in their eye when you start to explain things to them? Well, come join me every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can talk comics and get to know some new creators of color, only on YouTube and Twitch.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Calvin, from the Icarus Podcast, and I just want to say that we got new episodes coming next Saturday and every Saturday after that. So all I will have to say from here is keep enjoying the show. You can check us out, www.icarusmetrocomics.com. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and more. See y'all next time.
And we're back. Go definitely check out all of our friends over there doing amazing things for the Blurred community. Midnight Comics with Indie Versus, Lady Mandalore, Roomful of Blurs, Icarus Comics with Icarus Podcast, man. They're doing some awesome stuff. And we're making new friends. So you're gonna be seeing some more trailers up in here soon. Definitely go check them out, man. They're fucking amazing. They're hilarious. And they're incredibly intelligent and knowledgeable on their respective fields. All right, so let's get into it. Starkiller. We are celebrating Star Wars month, and we're kicking it off. Well, we're kicking off our Star Wars May with the man, the myth, the problem himself, Starkiller. And I'm gonna pass the mic over to our resident, how would I say, Star Wars enthusiast, Star Wars expert, if you will, Lord Triage, people. Yay! If I had my soundboard, I'd be putting a bunch of applause in here and stuff like that. Also, before we get into that real quick, Deso, what we got on the screen right here? What we doing right here? What we got on the screen?
Force Unleashed 1.
Force Unleashed 1. Let's see here. And who are you playing as right now? Who's that?
Starkiller versus ult.
Oh, it's his evil ult? His dark side ult?
Yep.
Yeah, gotcha. He started looking like Palpatine when he was younger or some shit. You got it got all the DLC, right? As well?
Yep. Yup.
All right. So yeah, let's get into it. Triage. Start us off. Take it away.
So shortly after the Order 66 and the forming of the Galactic Empire, the newly christened Darth Vader was sent to hunt down and eliminate any rogue Jedi threat to the Emperor's rule. Finding out that there was possibly a survivor on Kashyyyk, Vader, along with a group of stormtroopers, went to investigate. And there, hiding amongst the Wookiees on Kashyyyk, he does find a Jedi survivor who he quickly engages in combat and easily defeats. But right before he goes to execute said Jedi, Vader senses a stronger presence in the Force and asks him where his master is. The Jedi responds with that says that Vader killed his master in the Purge, and that the dark side has clouded his mind so much that he's even forgetting who his victims are. So just as Vader goes to cut him in half, his lightsaber flies backwards out of his hand and into the hands of a small child. And this is when Vader realizes that the child was the presence that he was sensing, and that the child is the son of the Jedi in question he came to kill. The child named Galen Merrick.
Oh yeah, that was his name. Yep.
Yes. And just as this happens, the squadron of stormtroopers storm in to back Vader up, and then seeing an opportunity and being an opportunist, Vader proceeds to kill all the stormtroopers and takes the child off-world with him. and spends a little over the next decade training him in the dark side of the Force, and takes him on as his secret apprentice.
Yeah, because essentially that would end up if Palpatine knew about that, that would be breaking the rule of two. There's
Well, here.
no,
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So for those who don't know, if you don't know, you should know. The rule of two is there within the Sith order, the Sith code. There's going to be two: one master, one apprentice, one to embody the dark side, and then one to crave it. So in that situation, Lord Vader or Darth Vader is technically Darth Sidious's apprentice. So Sidious is the master in the situation. Vader's the apprentice. So if he found out that Vader had taken on his own apprentice, there would be a lot of problems there. Because that would be breaking the rule of two that had been at that point in time had been in motion for, I'd say, well over 1,000 years, well over a millennia, which restarted with Bane, Darth Bane, which we'll talk about later this month. God, I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. Oh man, I can't fucking wait. The rule of two was the idea was initially brought about with I believe Evan or Malgus, but it was quickly thrown away after their death. And Lord Khan came along and said, "Oh, we're all fucking equal now. There's no one above all. We're all dark sides." And in his brotherhood of darkness, yeah, which is bullshit. Which is complete bullshit. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent right now. Which is complete bullshit. He says, "Oh, we're all equal," while this motherfucker is sitting there using the Force to manipulate the minds of the rest of the Brotherhood to follow him. Yeah. I was like, all right, you were fucking hypocrite. No, that was bullshit. You're just, which, now that I think about it, it's technically the true way of the dark side. Deceit.
Manipulation.
He was deceiving them from the beginning. And manipulation. I've been becoming well versed in the ways of the dark side lately. Thank you, Lord Triage, for letting me borrow this collection. Fucking great. Fucking great. This is the shit that they need to make movies about, man. And it might be getting there. Yeah, I don't know. They might get there because the new trailer of The Acolyte dropped.
Yeah, I'm still not impressed.
I'm interested to see who the Sith Lord is that is, controlling the assassin. Because I feel like that will make it worthwhile for me. I'm not impressed because there's I'm seeing a lot of Jedi and not a lot of Sith, but it makes sense because this takes place well before episode 1. So I'm interested in seeing who this Lord is. But yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. So he hid the existence of his apprentice from Palpatine or Sidious.
Well, here's an interesting thing, and it's one of those things that you find out is that actually, Sidious had did away with the rule of two long before that ever actually happened with the whole Galen Merrick thing. So, because Sidious had began to train Darth Maul long before his master, Plagueis the Wise, had actually died. Now, if you remember that scene from Revenge of the Sith, where Anakin and Sidious are in the opera, and they're talking, and he's telling them the story of Plagueis the Wise. Now, he tells him how he kills him in his sleep, how his apprentice killed him in his sleep, and he's like, it's funny how he could save others from death, but not himself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you go back and watch The Phantom Menace, Plagueis is still around during that movie. Sidious kills Plagueis after he's promoted to his rank in the Senate.
So it was that reason?
Yes. The whole thing happens during his basically coup to take over, where he kills Plagueis. He kills Plagueis during the Phantom Menace.
Wow.
And here's the thing, that completely goes against the rule of two, because the rule of two states that the master has to be defeated by their apprentice in combat. And Sidious killed Plagueis in his sleep.
Damn, I can't wait to replay the Plagueis story now. That's wow. I never knew that. I thought Sidious had killed him long ago.
No. That was not the case.
That's fucking mind blowing for me.
Because if you look at the movies, if you look at the prequels, everything from Phantom Menace to Revenge of the Sith, technically, if you think about it, there was always three, because there was Plagueis, Sidious, and then Maul. And then Maul gets defeated, and then Sidious takes on Dooku, takes on Tyrannus. And then technically Tyrannus' apprentice was Asajj Ventress. Meanwhile, through all this time, he's still manipulating Anakin Skywalker, who people actually believe that was the product of the Force by Plagueis manipulating the Force within an individual.
Whoa. Fucking whoa.
The dark side always had this rumor of something called the Sithari, and it was supposed to be the ultimate supreme being who was supposed to completely embody the dark side of the Force, who was supposed to lead the Sith to supremacy over the Jedi. Now, it gets mentioned in the Bane trilogy that his rival at the school, they thought it was him. And you already know how that turns out.
Quite bloody. Quite bloody. And quick, his rival's race, wasn't he part of Maul's race?
No, Maul is from Dathomir. Bane's rival was a Twi'lek, if memory serves me correctly.
Was he a Twi'lek? Really?
I'm almost positive.
All right. When we're done, I'm gonna double check in the book, because I remember him because every time anytime a Twi'lek character came in, they always described them, including their what did they call them? Their tendrils or whatever there is. Forgot what they called them.
Yes.
But I don't remember them describing him with those.
Yes, if memory serves me correctly, it was him and the two he was always with. They were all Twi'leks, but he was just acknowledged as a superior one. Now, before we get off subject, because we tend to do that.
Yeah.
So the newly christened Galen Merrick, who was nicknamed Starkiller and given the code name. After years of training, he became antsy to fulfill his mission, which was to kill and defeat the Emperor. He was supposed to be Vader's tool in order to exact his revenge, because Vader had learned through the events of Revenge of the Sith, and this is one of the things that's explained more in the book that's not really done well in the movies, that Anakin Skywalker, once he became the newly christened Darth Vader, he realized that he was manipulated for the better half of his life and did not take too kindly to that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's explained that from the moment Anakin Skywalker pledged fealty to him, he was already plotting to overthrow him. If anything, that was probably going to be the first thing he did once he returned from Mustafar, after he learned what he needed to learn from Palpatine.
All right. Okay.
So it was supposed to be that Starkiller was supposed to be his tool to overthrow the Emperor. So he spent all his days training, honing him, fostering his hatred, manipulating him to the point where he could actually hold his own with this training droid called Proxy. And Proxy used to take on the form of all these different Jedis and Sith from lore and try to kill Starkiller. Like, it was absolutely priceless. Every single time he would run up on him or surprise him and try to attack him, and he'd always disarm him and defeat him.
Yeah. I remember in the game having to, like, when you first start the game, having to fight him a few times. You know, as training and shit. I haven't played the games in a while. It has been a long while since I've had to play the games. I'm about to go back and replay them, because I beat 1 and I never finished 2.
Really?
Yeah, I never. Yeah, I didn't get through 2. Something happened with my disc, and it just never. It was never able to go back to it. I have it though. Now on my P5, I have it, but I think I started messing around with it not too long ago, but didn't really take it seriously and get into it, because other priorities and shit. But that's definitely something I definitely want to get into. Number 1, I blew through number 1. I played that shit ritualistically every day after school. Did whatever I had to do. Came back, played the shit out of it. It just sucks because I didn't have the DLC, so I heard about it, but I wanted to do his dark side run.
Well,
because from what I heard, the dark side run, like, fucking you fight Obi-Wan, you fight Luke, and you can turn Luke to the dark side and shit like that. Did you ever play through that side?
I did not, actually, but in hindsight, it's one of those things where it's a fun what if, because you do see the stories get told all the time about what would happen if this had happened, or this had happened, or if this had taken place instead of this. So, like, I would like to see a what if story where Luke Skywalker is evil, like in live action. I think it would be golden, but the one thing that Vader did do is that Vader started sending Galen on missions to test his merit once he became too antsy. So he basically sent him to find rogue Jedi who he got leads on, and he had to hunt them down and kill them. Because one of the ones I think is funny as hell, for whatever reason, they've had, like, Shakti die like 4 different ways. Don't ask me why. For whatever reason, she's always like the go-to for some reason of how this happened or how it didn't happen.
Yeah, she's the green Twi'lek, right?
Shakti is the same race as Ahsoka.
Yeah, she's the Twi'lek.
I don't think Ahsoka's a Twi'lek.
Am I getting the race mixed up?
I
I thought the
believe so.
Twi'leks are the one with the they look very very human, but they have the long tendrils that are essentially their hair.
Yes, you are thinking of the right ones. Yes, but Ahsoka is not one of them.
No. Huh. Sorry, I just grabbed my phone real quick. Hold on. I'm pretty sure because you look just like them. Maybe I'm being racist or alienist
Specious.
or whatever. Yeah, specious. Yeah.
Oh Lord. But yes, that was supposed to be what he was supposed to be doing, and he does wind up taking out her in the gameplay along with General Ron Coda. Now,
Togruta.
Togruta, that's what the species is called.
Yeah, that's what Ahsoka is. Ahsoka is a Togruta. Now how do you spell Shakti?
Now, while doing all these missions and actually gaining strength in the dark side and becoming more powerful, the Emperor is revealed to have spies who had found out about Galen's activities.
She's a Togruta as well. Shakti. Sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. I'm just because I'm reading the books and I'm like, what the? Oh. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, they look very, very similar, but the Togruta have their tendrils have horns on them, kind of a little bit of a spike, while the Twi'leks are more they're long and more flowing. Like if you watch Revenge of the Sith when Order 66, on the one planet where they're all shooting when Order 66 happens, there's the green chick, and she gets shot the fuck up. She gets shot the fuck up. She is a Twi'lek.
Yes, the one of the clone trooper show.
Yep. All right, that makes more sense now. So I was thinking of the right people, but just wrong name for the right So Ahsoka is Togruta, and so is Shakti is Togruta. Sorry to interrupt. So Starkiller's mission was to take out Shakti.
Yes, which he succeeds, and during this time after he takes out these Jedi that he was sent to eliminate, the Emperor wound up becoming aware of his activities due to spies he had throughout the galaxy. So basically, Starkiller comes to speak to Vader, and as Vader's addressing him, the Emperor walks into the room, and then Vader, to cover his tracks, wounds him. He runs him through. So Sidious basically tells him how him training this disciple in secrecy is a betrayal of his trust. So he says in order to earn his trust, he must get rid of him. So he proceeds to throw him out the window into space.
Foreshadowing much?
Yeah. Listen, man. I once again, I don't get how they're using the Force to survive in a vacuum of space. I think that's a little goofy, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. So I don't know. A Sith Lord doing it, I get. Leia doing it makes no damn sense. I'm just saying, she wasn't even a fucking full Jedi.
Well, I'm not touching that one because that goes into the what we don't like to talk about. So I'll just.
Yeah. We don't talk about Bruno. No. But yeah, it survived the vacuum of space. It's goofy as shit. Don't make no sense. No, keep going. I'm just gonna refill my cup. More drink because I feel like there's gonna be more Power Farrakhan later on. So,
Oh, sweet Christmas. But yes, so when Starkiller was thrown out into space, he was actually saved secretly by Vader and was given a new assignment. So in this version of the story, and this is one of the things where I don't think it's ever truly been explained in other material, maybe outside of the books, how the rebellion gets started. So basically, Vader assigned Starkiller to rally who he believes are enemies of Palpatine and have been working against the Galactic Empire to rally them into one place. That way, the Emperor could have his resources diverted. That way, Vader could overthrow him. But in actuality, all this did was foster the rebellion that we come to see in A New Hope.
oh wow. Oh. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I see me. I still believe Anakin, even though he had air quote turned to the dark side. He was still. I feel like he was still the chosen one.
He was. There's no ifs, ands, buts about that.
Everyone's like, "Oh no, he wasn't. The chosen one was really Luke because he took down the Empire." But did he really though?
He didn't.
Did he really though?
He
It
didn't.
really wasn't. It was Vader that took down. Last time I checked, last time I watched the movie, it was Vader that took out Palpatine. I'm sorry, Sidious. So, yeah, no, they gonna have to miss me with that shit. Don't put some respect on my nigga Anakin's name. Put some respect on Annie's name. Stop playing.
Well, this goes back to the issue is that everyone thinks that the problem is one has to destroy the other. Either the Sith have to rule this galaxy and to wipe out the Jedi have to eradicate the Sith, but there can be no shadow without light. There can be no light without a shadow. So the problem comes in is the fact that it has to constantly be balanced between both sides. So there's always going to be a push to the pull, a pull to the push.
Absolutely, that's the balance. That's the whole point of the Force. The Force is balance. Is within every living thing. It's a balance. And I'm at the part in book 2, just past the 10-year time skip. After the Rasan Reformation, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, what that senator wanted to do, I'm just like, all right, yeah, that makes no sense. You're trying to stop the balance, and from being balanced. You're trying to unbalance it and keep it on the side of the light when, unfortunately, there has to be that back and forth. There has to be that war because that's what brings balance between the light and the dark. Personally, to me, I feel like that's what kind of started this whole shit in it anyways. Fucking the universe was so unbalanced that it needed an extreme dark to outweigh the extreme light. Yeah, I don't know. I always have my ideology is that like there always has to be a balance. But when there's such a large imbalance, it takes a lot for things to get back into balance. So if you have a long period of a bunch of good things going on, it's just that the bad karma or bad juju just builds up over time. When you're neglecting one side, it just builds up over time. And when it does finally blow, it's 10 times worse than if you would have just dealt with it in that moment or let it be within that moment. So I believe I said this with in the grand finale of Avatar April as well. There needed to be a balance, but as we all know, peace is a lie.
Peace is a lie.
There's only passion.
There is only passion. But the one thing
that's just the way I look at it.
No, you're not wrong by no means. But the one thing that I think that's been very interesting, and this is one of the reasons why I think they should make the character canon, is because of everything that happens with Ahsoka. Because they've always talked about how the Force is balanced and how there is no light without dark, there is no dark without light. And then if you watch the Clone Wars animated series, you actually get to see almost the living embodiments of the light, the dark, and then the balance, who was their father.
Mm-hmm.
So
the father embodies the Force, the daughter embodies the light, and the son embodies the dark.
Yes. Who I believe the son was actually voiced by Sam Witwer, who actually is the character Starkiller, who actually did. So I think that's actually pretty interesting too, what the point I'm about to make. So,
and I want to point out that I did try to contact Sam Witwer to see if he wanted to come on the show. Unfortunately, I did not get a response, but I will keep trying for the rest of the month.
Yeah, I would love to interview him. That would definitely be a blast. Because you see that Ahsoka is wounded in the animated series, and that the daughter basically fuses her essence into Ahsoka's body to save Ahsoka. So Ahsoka is basically the living embodiment of the light side of the Force. Now, It's been theorized by a lot of people who have watched the Ahsoka show, which we all have, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Because when you watch Ahsoka, you see that Anakin has basically entered the void and is at the focal point within the Force, and he's basically taken on the position of the father. So he is basically one with the Force itself, and is that basically a major focal point now. The one thing that's got me slightly confused is that they haven't touched on what happened to the son. Because if you watched the end of the episode for the if you watch the end of the episode for the first season of Ahsoka, where you see Ray Stevenson's character Baylan Skoll, when you see him and he's on that mountain and he's overlooking the valley, you see that the statues behind him are the daughter, the son, and the father. So the question where I kept thinking that this was about to go was that they were going to introduce Starkiller, and then he could finally truly embody the dark side of the Force. And if he embodied the dark side while Ahsoka embodied the light, it would make sense, because they're both prodigies of Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka being trained by actual Anakin the Jedi Knight, and then Starkiller being trained by Darth Vader,
the Sith Lord.
Exactly. So they're basically both major focal points of the actual embodiment of the Force now. Like, it basically writes itself. So it's like,
it definitely does, but now again, the usual problem is it's not what they can do, it's about what they will do. And I don't know. I feel like when Disney gets a property, they try to wipe out all existence of the previous owners and make it their thing in its entirety. And I feel like that's what they did with Lucasfilms. That's what they did with Star Wars. When they got the rights to Star Wars, they completely, was it retconned anything that they didn't produce, or in all the books, all the books and a lot of the comic books are completely non-canon now.
A lot of them are, but not all, because certain characters they have canonized into the series, because Bane is one of them.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, they may have, one way or another, they took something out. So the character may stay canon, but that character's story may not be canon anymore.
Correct.
And to me, that's a problem. Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Big fact.
And it's less work that you have to do. It's already written for you. All you have to do is just bring it to life. And that's my biggest problem. Like, that shit's fucking annoying. It's like, because now you're rewriting shit that was already set for you, and you're making it worse than what it was. You think you're making it better, but in reality, you're actually making it worse. Because the story that you have, clearly that's the story. Clearly people like it. Nobody's complaining about it. Why are you making changes?
Yeah, like, there is no one I know who has read the Bane trilogy that's not liked it.
Yeah, so far, everyone else that I've met, whether it be you, whether it be our guy Jason, he fucking loved it, and I fucking love it. I am fucking obsessed with this shit, man. Like, this is really, like, I'm in the process of planning out my next tattoo. And my next tattoo is going to be the Sith code. Peace is a lie. There's only passion. So, like, and that's how deeply that, these stories have really resonated with me. And technically, that's going to be my first nerdy tattoo. I don't have any nerdy tattoos, unlike Mr. Triage here.
My ink is a reflection of my journey and my personal growth as a person. So I do have several comic book inspired tattoos. I have Harley Quinn as a reminder to never give my heart to someone who doesn't deserve it. I have Bane to remind me to never let my environment determine the circumstances or outcome of my life. Killmonger to remind me to conduct myself as a king and not a coon.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Black Manta. Black Manta is from my father, my cousin, and my grandfather, who are the men who shaped my life, basically raised me. They all taught me things about the kind of man I want to be and the kind of man I don't. But probably my favorite one is my Ninja Turtles, though, because I have all 4 Ninja Turtles plus the 5th one that was done. And I want to give a shout out to my tattoo artist, my boy Gary at Dark Tower Tattoos in Troy. He always hooks me up and does me right.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, and that's the same. That's kind of like the same thing for me. Getting this tattoo, I'm not getting it just because it's Star Wars. I'm not getting it just because I side with the dark side. I'm getting it because it has real world applications. It has real world applications to me because if you look at it, peace is a lie. Anytime, and the whole point of the Sith are to grow and become the strongest and the possible best version of themselves, right? To tap into that potential, that latent potential that they have. And in life, no matter what it is that you're doing, anytime a change happens, anytime growth is to be had, there's going to be chaos, discomfort. There's not going to be peace within it. I've never heard of a peaceful transformation or a peaceful change. Look at the human body as we're going through puberty. Our hormones and our cells on a molecular level are in a constant state of change and chaos until everything balances out. You know, look at chemicals. When there's a chemical reaction, those molecules are in a constant state of flux, thus not being at peace. They're constantly moving. They're not in a peaceful state. So anytime there's to be growth or change to be had, there's going to be chaos and there will not be peace until that change is complete. But even then, the world and us as human beings are ever growing. We're ever learning. A true master is someone that never stops learning. So to me, the phrase "peace is a lie" resonates heavy with me. And then the next part, there's only passion. When you want something, when you want to change what you want, when you want the growth, the only thing that's going to keep you going for that is your passion. How much do you want that change? Your passion for that change. And what do they say? Through passion,
I gain strength.
And through strength, I gain power. And through power, I gain victory. And through victory, my chains can be broken. And it all makes sense in a real world application. In order to change, there cannot be peace. And the only way to get that change is to want that change and have a passion for that change and really want it. And that passion is going to bring you that passion is going to give you strength to keep going. Well, it's going to give you power to keep going. And power is strength. And that strength is what's going to bring you to your victory, to achieving that change. And through victory and achieving that change, your chain is broken. You're free of all. You're free. And once you know all that, once you know that, and you understand and believe that your passion is going to get you through anything, nothing can hold you. No chains can tie you down. So that's why I want it. It's that real world application to me. And I never thought about that. I never thought about that until I started reading these books. Star Wars has a lot of real world application and a lot of real world philosophy and shit in it. And that's why it pisses me off when they take characters like Starkiller and take them out of the canon. And it's like, why would you do that when it's literally his story is a whole redemption story. from the beginning of game 1 to the ending of game 2, depending if you decide to play the dark route.
Yes, because they do give you the option to whether or not you want to, how you want to play through the game and end the game. So, because the argument that everyone always has is that people feel that his character is too overpowered. But my thing is like, is he overpowered, or does he just use the Force for reckless abandonment? Like, some of the shit you see him do, I'm sure Mace Windu could have did. I'm sure Anakin Skywalker could have did. But it's also one of the things like, you don't get to see the Jedi really
Cut
loose by no means. And it's like, and even the Sith Lords, and here's the wild part: the only ones you get to see on screen are Vader, Maul, Dooku, Kylo Ren, and Sidious. By the time Sidious was came to power, he didn't even want to use a lightsaber anymore. To my knowledge, he only uses a lightsaber on a handful of occasions, and he hated lightsabers. He only carried one because he felt it was his way to mock the Jedi by carrying one.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Maul didn't focus on his Force training. He focused on his lightsaber combat.
Yep.
That's why he fought the way he did. So did Anakin Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker didn't focus on his Force training the way he did his lightsaber combat. And then once he lost his limbs, his ability to use the Force was greatly diminished anyway. The only person, in my opinion, who I think we could have really seen some phenomenal shit from was Dooku. But Dooku realized that he was just a pawn, and then he was only used to further push Anakin along towards the dark side. Like, he really realized in his last minutes right before Anakin executed him that Anakin was already basically halfway to a Sith Lord. And Dooku was another one because of the way his lightsaber was constructed. It was specifically meant for dueling. And Dooku was the greatest duelist in the Jedi Order, being a master of Makashu, which was Form 2, which is specifically meant for dueling.
Mm-hmm. And what? Bane was Form 5, right? 4.
Yes. So basically, when it comes to lightsaber combat, they tell you that the only styles you need to learn are the defensive style and the aggressive style. That's it. Certain people go as far as mastering all the styles. Certain people only master a certain style. It all depends.
Yeah. Now, with Starkiller's story, he ends up meeting this rebel chick.
You're talking about Juno?
Yeah, Juno.
Yeah, so Juno was the pilot who was in charge of his ship, who basically flew him to and from his locations and traveled alongside him. And she basically slowly but surely becomes his love interest, and she was one of the things that pushed him back towards the light.
Mm-hmm.
Because once he got caught and the Emperor found out about him, Juno was basically branded a traitor against the Empire and was to be executed. So the first thing he did was fight his way through the facility to go save her.
Yeah, that scene was fucking tough. That shit was, oh my god, that shit was so savage, man. Like, we see Starkiller's Force abilities are like damn near like no other that we've ever really seen. His Force powers were so strong that he was literally able to pull a Star Destroyer from orbit and crash it into the planet just by using the Force.
Yeah. Living up to his name.
Exactly. The Star Destroyer himself. Now, like I said, I never finished 2. So as we go through towards the end of 1, he ends up getting killed again. Like legitly killed, and Vader ends up bringing him back. More so, pretty much. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Was he brought back a clone? Was it a clone of him that was brought to life, and his memories were kind of transplanted into the clone body, or was he sitting in a bacta tank?
Okay. So I am going to go on a bit of a tangent. So if I start to spiral or if I stop me, copy?
No promises.
Okay. So Plagueis the Wise felt that the rule of 2 needed to be done away with, and he was going to replace it with something called the rule of 1. This is one of the reasons why Plagueis became so obsessed with the Metachlorians and how they influence and create and manipulate life. Like, he got to the point where Plagueis would wound people or hurt them and then study through the Force how the Metachlorians would keep them alive or how they would decay inside certain bodies faster than others. And it was literally to the point where he would literally watch you die and then could see you dying like through the Force.
That's fucking sick.
Right? So he decided that the whole rule of 2 was what needed to be done away with. So he was replacing it with something called the rule of 1. He was basically trying to figure out a way to make himself immortal. That way he could rule the Sith for all time. Now, this is what happens with Sidious. And you're seeing this now because you see this in the sequels, the ones we don't talk about, where Sidious came back. It is revealed in the Bad Batch that Sidious is working on something called Project Necromancer. Now, for all those who do not know, a necromancer is someone who has the ability to control and manipulate the dead. So it was supposed to be that Sidious was looking for beings with extremely high M counts. M counts as in being Metachlorians. One of the beings that we've seen with an extremely high M count is Grogu.
Yeah.
This goes back to everything we saw Moff Gideon doing, where he created clones of himself and he was trying to give them the Force. It's a very similar project. So it was said, supposedly, that no one can clone Jedi. It's never worked. Anytime someone's tried to do it, the cells break down, or the said subject goes insane, or basically dies shortly after it's released from its captivity. So, for whatever reason, there's something about the Metachlorians in the body that makes them extremely hard to clone. Apparently, unless the subject has a very high M count. So if the M count is through the roof, it makes it easier to do. Because there's a whole fan theory that states something that I would have loved to seen, but for whatever reason, it hasn't happened yet. So the theory states that the Starkiller we do see in the sequel games is a clone, because as you play towards the end of the game, you see that there are a whole bunch of other clones of him inside bacta tanks. And the story states that Anakin Skywalker Darth Vader was secretly doing this because he was testing this, because he wanted to clone himself and then have his clone kill him. Because all he would need to do is transfer his essence, which is a ritual through the Force. You can transfer your essence from one soul you're basically transfer your soul from one body to another on some Chucky Dumbala type shit.
Oh wow, damn, bro. Ooh, damn, that was. Not a lot of people know about that.
So that was the whole thing. They think that Starkiller, everything he was doing with him in the sequel was supposed to be him trying to perfect the method. That way he could transfer his soul to a new body, have all his limbs back, still have all the knowledge he has now, and then be able to overthrow the Emperor.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I would have most definitely loved to see that. That would, oh my god, that would have been fucking insane. I mean, couldn't he have just cloned himself?
What the theory states is that no one has ever been able to do it and had it work. And because his body was already so damaged, I think it's one of those things where he
metachlorian count was lower than it was when he had all his limbs. Which means it probably wouldn't have succeeded.
Correct. But if he could have perfected the method beforehand and then found a being with a high enough M count to transfer the metachlorians from that person's body to his new one. Matter of fact, there's a whole fan theory that states that if Plagueis the Wise did create Anakin Skywalker by manipulating the Force, and he's the one who basically created him through Shmi Skywalker, that Grogu was created by the Force to balance it out because Grogu and Anakin are the same age.
Yeah. And I forget, I did the timeline on it. So Grogu, when Order 66 happened, Grogu would have been in his 20s. Like 20 to 20. It was like 20, between 20 and 26. If you do the math properly based off of like when we first see him in the first episode of Mandalorian, he's about 50, and the Mandalorian takes place about 20 to 30 years after Order 66 and the fall of the Empire.
Correct.
Because if I do the math, if you take a look at where Bane takes place 1,035 years before A New Hope. So New Hope happens 35 years after Episode 1. So that means when Revenge of the Sith happened, Anakin had to be about... He had to be about 25. Around 25. And Grogu was in Order 66. So yeah, if you do the math, they're definitely around the same time. So Grogu was 20-something. As we know, their race ages very, very, very slowly. So I'm pretty sure when we by the time Yoda dies, he's like
1,000.
Yeah. Oh. Possible plot hole here.
Yeah, I want to say he was like 1,000 almost.
Yeah. He was definitely in his 900s. I don't think he had hit 1,000 yet. But Master Yaddle, I'm pretty sure Master Yaddle was older than Yoda.
That's a possibility.
So Yaddle had to have been in her thousands. So that means she had to have been around during Bane's time. But again, with the Rasan Reformation and with Bane's plan to kind of like go fly under the radar, the Rasan Reformation breaking down the Army of Light, which is like the Jedi, pretty much turning Jedi into fucking bodyguards for like the Senate or whatever. That's pretty damn interesting there. I never thought about Master Yaddle really too much because you don't really see when you only see her in like one movie and kind of like one or two scenes.
And then she's in the one episode Tales of the Jedi, which reminds me, if you have not seen it, there's another series that's a follow-up called Tales of the Empire. They just put it on yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that it dropped. I got to check it out, and it's all from like the dark side, the Sith kind of like point of view.
Well, apparently the first 3 episodes are about Morgan, the one that Ahsoka fights.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other 3 episodes are about Barriss Offee.
Oh, wow. All right. I think Disney's starting to get the point. Start talking about all these other characters. They literally have 25,000 years. 25,000 years of lore that they can just pluck and create and bend to their own will. So that's what I'm waiting. That's what I'm waiting to see from them, really. All right, so let's take a quick break. Let's hear from some of our awesome friends in the podcast community. Let's hear what they have to say. If this ever decides to do it.
Going on, everybody? Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we'd like to introduce you guys to our show, The Indie Breakdown, a show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an eventual indie versus matchup. All Indie Breakdown episodes go live first on Spotify and on Patreon, with them eventually showing up on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out The Indie Breakdown and learn more from your favorite indie comic book creators, now's the time to do so. We hope you guys decide to tune in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.
Hi, I go by Lady Mandalore, the creator of Roomful of Blurs. Do you have a whiteboard in your room? Do people get a glazed over look in their eye when you start to explain things to them? Well, come join me every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can talk comics and get to know some new creators of color, only on YouTube and Twitch.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Calvin, from the Icarus Podcast, and I just want to say that we got new episodes coming next Saturday and every Saturday after that. So all I will have to say from here is keep enjoying the show. You can check us out, www.icarusmetrocomics.com. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and more. See y'all next time.
All right, and we're back. Again, like I said, please go definitely check them out. Also check out our website. We still have our sweatshirts and t-shirts still up for sale. By all means, please check them out. We will be having some more designs for you guys. Hey, Deso, don't die on us, man. We will be having some more merch coming out in the near future. So check us out. Definitely check us out. Now, how like I said, so I didn't finish Force Unleashed 2. Run me through it. Walk us through it.
You said walk you through what again?
Quick rundown of the Force Unleashed 2.
Oh, okay. So basically, Vader resurrects Merrick with the mission of using him to overthrow the Emperor and hunt down the rebels, in my air quotations. And then he's basically supposed to be Vader's assassin tool again. And from jump, Merrick was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. He rebels, runs off, reunites with General Coda. General Coda tells him about everything that's going on, how he basically started the fire, and how he needs to be the catalyst to lead the rebellion, because the rebellion needs a Jedi. Because I didn't mention this when Starkiller initially gets into his fight with Coda, he accidentally blinds him. Well, not accidentally, but he does. And this caused Coda to spiral out of control. He's basically drunk. He was drinking his days away. And then when he meets him, he basically sobers him up, gives him a reason to continue fighting, and slowly but surely drags him back to the light. Now, Starkiller, on the other hand, Galen Merrick, because he basically renounced that whole title, had no interest in any of that. His whole concern was getting back to Juno and figuring out what it was he was going to do with his life, because Vader kept telling him how he was a clone, and how the memories he had were that of a dead man and a traitor, and he didn't need to acknowledge them. So we talk about redemption arcs. The second game is basically him trying to redeem everything that basically happened from the first game, while finding his purpose and also finding his lost love in Juno.
Yeah, I remember that much. And then Vader actually ends up having to pretty much test him to make sure he's still on the dark side page. He has Proxy transform into her and attempts to pretty much have him kill her. Just pretty much test and make sure he's still on mission. But he fails. He's not able to kill the fake version of her. And Bane's like, all right, you're a failure, whatever. I guess I'll just try it again with the next one of you. And that's when he ends up breaking out, and then he ends up storming through the fucking facility again on his escape. And then I stopped playing. and then I stopped playing. That's as far as I got with Force Unleashed too. Yeah, I got to work in that.
Yes, that's something you probably should do. You should definitely get back to it and finish it.
Because it's definitely one of the better Star Wars games. Like I
haven't really played a bad one.
Have you played Episode 1, Phantom Menace?
I have not.
Then yeah. Yeah, that game was bad. It was their first movie tie-in game. And it was for I think I played it on the PlayStation 1. So yeah, it's definitely worth a play though. Definitely 100 worth a play. The Force Unleashed games are so worth the fucking play. So after he kind of breaks out and goes on his journey to find her, where does his journey end up leading him? You're still with us?
No, my fault. I'm sorry. Say that again.
Yeah. So after he breaks out, he goes to find Juno. Where's this mission lead him?
So before he does that, the way he goes about it is something I want to touch on real quick. So this was actually really interesting because he was so lost, is that he was going back and forth with Coda, and Coda said to him that he's like, when there's the middle of a galactic war going on, and he's like, and you want to wander the jungles of Kashyyyk or sit in the swamps of Dagobah to what, find yourself? And he's like, listen, man, when you got everything sorted, you let me know.
Mm-hmm.
So he's sitting there thinking to himself, and he goes, Dagobah, because Dagobah is a place that's actually very strong in the Force. It's the dark side of the Force, though, for anyone who doesn't know. That's why Yoda chose to hide there, because it masked his presence.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense now.
And then he winds up going to Dagobah, and he winds up actually going past Yoda, and he speaks to him briefly, and then he meditates, and then that's when he realizes he has to save Juno.
Oh, all right. Again, please forgive me. Everybody watching, I haven't played these games in years. Years. Most I remember about this game is that the gameplay was fucking phenomenal. The gameplay was so fun for the time. Now, like, so he ends up. Does he end up finding Juno?
He does, but he winds up, when he goes to rescue her, he winds up crossing paths with Boba Fett, and Boba Fett basically captures her and takes her back to Vader.
Oh. All right. See, and again, I'll say it. I know I pretty much say this every episode, but I love the fact that we do this shit because I learned so fucking much.
Yeah, Boba Fett is the fucking king of the cameo in Star Wars.
She fucking is, dude. Seriously. Ah, man. So now, I'm pretty sure I already know the answer to this, but like, how and where would you like to see the character of Starkiller used within live action? I already know Sam Witwer. They have to get him to play, the role, but it's more so like, all right. So how would you write the story, or how do you want that story to play out, knowing what we know from the past now and what the future and what the future has?
I would honestly write it to the point where it was as simple as he is in that galaxy that Ahsoka's in now. He's on that same planet, and he wind up crossing paths. And that he has been there because he was hiding from Vader.
Mm.
And how we all know that Baylan Skoll, who was played by the great Ray Stevens, and how he was supposed to be looking for something on the planet, but we never figured out what it was. But we didn't know it had something to do with the father, the son, and the daughter. And has something to do with transcending the Force or changing the Force. So once again, with Ahsoka being the embodiment of the light side, say he comes across something that possesses him or manipulates him and then brings him into being that balance in the dark side, because they haven't announced or said what it is they're going to do, because Ray Stevenson died. So, like, what happens with his character and everything he was supposed to be doing? And then let's not forget that Hadi was still on the planet also. And then this also gives a perfect example, because now it can show the contrast between the dark and the light, and how there is no eradicating one or the other. It just needs to coexist. And how they could have a whole scene where Hayden Christensen is talking to both of them, and he's jumping fast back and forth between Anakin and Vader, because that's how they're going to see him. Like, for example, it gets explained in the books that when Luke Skywalker, after he defeated Darth Vader and he took him back and he gave him a funeral, how whenever he saw him again, he saw Anakin Skywalker. But Leia could never get over her initial feelings towards him and only ever saw him as Darth Vader. Power, you still there? Guess not. So that's one of the things that I think was really interesting in hindsight, because it shows that regardless of what happens or what goes on, that there is always going to be good in the universe and there will always be evil in the universe. And the goal isn't for one to eradicate or destroy one or the other. The goal is for them to coexist and be able to somewhat thrive in the galaxy, because there's always going to be good people trying to do the right thing, live righteously, and prosper. And there's always going to be quote unquote evil people who are manipulating, pillaging, and doing what they want and living off the weak. So if they can somehow show that and make it work in live action, I'm golden and good for it. But the other thing I also would like to see, if they do put them two together, the lightsaber combat has to be on point. Prince, what you think?
Yeah. Shit.
I mean, is there any dream lightsaber fight that you like to see, like between the two of them?
Nah.
Me, on the other hand, I can't wait to see him square off. That's my thing. But I also want to see, like I said, I also want to see where they're going to go with the material, because it's like we all got left this big ass cliffhanger, and it's like, yeah, Ezra. I almost said Ezra Miller. Ezra Bridger's back. And we still don't know where they're going with that angle. They had him out in the middle of nowhere, living like a goddamn hermit, chilling.
Yep.
Let's see if he's actually with the shit still or not. Because they have a very bad habit of fundamentally changing a character off screen. Hopefully that's not the case.
Hope not.
But other than that, there's not really much else I could really think of as far as the Starkiller story. They could even pick it up where when she meets him and she's like, who are you? And he explains himself, and he's like, tells her he's been hiding, and how she finally explains that the war is over, but the Empire's still around. But I'm just interested to see what it is that's going to happen, because I'm all for a good story. I'm all for action, but we gotta have this done and have it done correctly.
But this is having a bit of a bad track record lately on doing shit correctly lately.
What'd you say?
Disney's been having a track record lately not doing shit right.
Well, the problem is, the issue is that they keep trying to push agendas. That's the problem. And then they take the story and go, we're not doing none of this. So it's like you already have the road paved, laid out. All you got to do is follow it. Stop dicking around. Stop doing extra shit. Just follow the material and everything will be fine.
Yeah. But they got them dumbass agendas to push.
I mean, I'm not really hyped about the whole Acolyte thing, because I'm not impressed so far from what I'm seeing, by no means. I think it's not going to be as cool as we all hoped. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but just from what I'm seeing, I'm not I'm not enthused by no means. There's plenty of other Sith Lords they could do. Bane. They could show about how Revan fell off the path. Malik, Malgus, Nihilus. There's a lot of people they could do. The question is, who will they do?
Yeah.
I was say, have you checked out any of the lore besides the movies?
No. I haven't.
I'm about to say yes. Few of these shits, I was sitting there reading, my mouth hanging open. Like when he talks about Bane being with the shits, Bane is with the shits. Malgus too. Revan got hit with lightning, force lightning. He pulled it into his body through one hand, let it pass through his body, and threw it back with like quadruple the force. Like the person who he hit the lightning with disintegrated.
Mm.
Like, why aren't people doing shit like that? I just don't get it.
Mm.
What happened to power?
That's I'm trying to figure that out now.
I know what it was. He stopped for coffee. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to wake himself up. It's a little late. I've nodded off on these before. It's not just him. It happens.
Yeah.
Or he's getting dubby. Look at this nigga Boba Fett, man. Boba Fett is the fucking king. The fucking king.
What?
Of just random inclusion. Like, I just don't get it. Like,
he's like Stan Lee cameos in Star Wars.
He does, and I just don't get it. Like, you know, they talk about how Boba was quote unquote that guy. He was that nigga, man. And then he gets knocked into the fucking sand creature on Tatooine.
He responded.
Who responded?
Drake responded.
I am not acknowledging him at this point in time. All right.
We talked about it earlier. He responded 15 minutes ago.
Did he really?
Yup.
I'll listen to it eventually. I'm in no hurry. I wasn't in a hurry to listen to Kendrick, honestly, and I'm a bigger fan of Kendrick, but I don't know.
Listen to that later. Where did I go?
Is that the Starkiller armor?
Yes.
Aha.
Okay. This shit. Oh. These. Nope, now there goes. Shit. Okay.
Oh, there we go. All right. Sorry, didn't know what happened there. But yeah, so as far as the whole thing goes, I would like to see him come in live action in the Ahsoka show. I'm not sure how that would really work with canon, and if they are doing this whole thing where they're going to have to fight the new Galactic Empire being led by Admiral Thrawn. So that's going to be Starkiller, Luke and his students, Ahsoka, the Rebels, plus a United Mandalore. So another thing that would also be cool to be interested if Starkiller had taken on an apprentice of his own.
Yeah.
Because if he's keeping not so much the dark side, but because that's what he was taught to use, if he's keeping those teachings alive, that also is going to give us a little bit more of a platform, because it'd be cool where if he did sort of like what Emma Frost did and he forms like his own school, like if he had like a rivalry school to teach Sith like the way Luke is trying to rebuild the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
I'll say that would definitely be entertaining.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. Hey, Yoda.
Yeah, this was the scene I was talking about. Because you're on Dagobah, right?
Yep.
You know what race Yoda is called?
Doklo.
No one does.
Ah.
It was literally like a thing with George Lucas that his species is to never be named. That's why, like, if you watch The Mandalorian, they never once mention Grogu's species. That's why they just called him the child. Like, hey, man, go save your kid. Shit, the Grogu might be older than Ninja Orange.
Yeah.
Talking about the child. Grown-ass man, my nigga, grown-ass man. Talking about Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda. Said, what's in there? Only what you take with you. Ah, surprise, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Nah, this game definitely was epic. I'd actually play this over in a heartbeat.
This is actually my first playthrough actually getting past that first part. Unless getting past that freaking fight.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So you never played either one of these, or just this one?
Just this one. I've never beaten either one of them. I've played them both, but I haven't gotten past that point in the second one.
Really?
That boss fight. Nope. I haven't got past that stupid boss fight. I couldn't figure it out.
Interesting.
Now I have, so
very interesting.
okay, yeah, I understand what you're talking about. The scene you're talking about, freaking Boba Fett snatches her up. Okay.
Jack just called you.
Yeah, he was head over heels, man.
Let's see here. One
you
second.
back from the dead, sir?
1 second here. We're having some technical difficulties.
Oh, I thought you went off to refill your energy. I thought you went off to get a cup of coffee or something.
Yeah, let's see here. One moment. Yeah, it's like everything kind of cut out for me on my side here. All right. And all right. Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I scared
All
you for
right,
a minute,
and
sir.
we're back. Yeah, sitting there trying to get it back the whole time.
You had to pull me. You
Ah,
had to pull me, sir.
yeah.
You had to pull me.
Almost lost it there. Oh man, dude, I can't wait till we get everything all set up and running. We don't have to deal with these issues.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, jeez. Every time we turn around, there's always something. But like the dark side, we always make it back. All right. So, all right. Just making sure everything's running nice and smooth now. All right, bet. There we go. All right, cool. All right, there we go. All right. All right. So let's make sure everything's good. It's still freezing up a little bit on me. No, like everything kind of cut out for me.
Drake responded.
Oh no.
He responded.
All right.
And he still wanted.
With that being said, since we are also starting to have some difficulties here with everything,
yeah. So yeah.
Wait, what was that?
He took one of Kendrick's titles and called the Hard Part 6. So.
All right. All right. Yeah, since we are starting to have some technical difficulty, things are starting to freeze up. There's definitely so much more to go into to Starkiller story, and personally, me, I really wish that there was more to be said. I definitely agree with what Triage had stated earlier in the show that they're just I would like to see them bring him into the story as the son of the Force, since we do already have the daughter. We now have Anakin as essentially the father. So where do you think, aside from what we had said earlier, from what they're doing right now, as we see with the Acolyte coming out and shit like that, where would you like to have them run with this? Where would you place Starkiller within this current universe that they have built now?
Well, the question is, the question for me is whether or not, if they do bring him, does he exist past this point? And what I mean by that is that we all know Ahsoka survives Order 66. We all know that she's going on to train Sabine and everything that happens with the rebels. And then we see that she's actually met Luke and has somewhat had a relationship with him. But we haven't seen what Starkiller's legacy is beyond the games. So I was actually just saying that the thing I would like to see is that him have an interaction with Ahsoka, and then it be revealed that he's been training his own apprentices. Whether he's had kids with Juno, or he's taken in a pupil who he felt was strong in the Force, or whatever the case may be. That way we can get to see maybe Ahsoka's student square off with his student, or we can see a 2-on-2 fight. We could look at it from this angle where, since he was basically trained to use the dark side, what if he was building his own school of dark side users? What if he wanted to fight the Empire?
I like that.
What if he wanted to fight the Empire fire with fire? He might have gotten word that something was going on and decided to look into it. Or I was also saying, like, say he was already in that galaxy where Ahsoka is. Say he went there to hide, or he went to get away from everything. We already saw that also with Cal Kestis in Jedi Survivor. So it's like everyone's been trying to escape the Empire, and it hasn't been working as long as you're staying within that galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
So what if he actually went, found some peace, but as we know, peace is a lie, and then the war shows up on his doorstep? What does he do?
Mm-hmm. I feel like, yeah, I definitely feel like that would work within what they have now. I could also see it as we've always seen, like it goes back and forth between like who is on the light side and who's on the dark side. I would be interested in seeing maybe one of Sabine's apprentices going, fall into the dark side, and the character that's kind of like their opposite on the light side would be one of Starkiller's um um apprentices.
Right?
And
But that's one of the reasons.
he had trained them in both light and dark side.
But that's one of the reasons why I'm saying like it already sets itself up, because for him to be the living embodiment of the dark side of the Force, and then we'll see that get expanded on, would just make sense, because since the Sith have been quote unquote defeated, we haven't seen a new Sith Lord come to power. So there isn't a Sith Lord who comes to power from Sidious being defeated to Ben Solo becoming Kylo Ren.
Yeah,
there is no embodiment.
That's the biggest plot hole within this new trilogy.
There's no embodiment of the dark side of the Force for what, 30 years? Nah, I have a hard time believing that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, 100%. It doesn't make sense, and the Force wouldn't allow that to happen. From what we know, what we've learned from the Force, it balances itself out. It wouldn't have allowed that to happen, and the reason why there was air quote peace after Khan fell was because there was still the Sith were still there. They were just running under out of view. So that's why the Jedi thought that they had, truly defeated the dark side. The dark side just happened to have been always there. So there has to be something within those 30. There has to be another, someone within those 30 years. And I'm interested. Now, this is one thing that always eluded me while watching the shitty, last trilogy, is who the fuck and what the fuck is Snoke? That's something that has always bothered me, because I would have, it didn't make any sense to me. Who and what was Snoke?
Apparently a fair clone of Palpatine.
Exactly. So if Palpatine technically had been alive all along, right? If he had been alive technically all along, all these, it was like some odd, like 50 some odd years from the fall, maybe a little bit more from the fall of the Empire. If he was alive all these years, like what was that story? Clearly he had already set shit up in advance with having Rey and that bullshit start out. Like I don't know, it just didn't make any sense to me. It wasn't clear and concise as the rest of the story was. So I just feel like it would be better to have brought in Starkiller to kind of to fill that gap and fill that void. he was alive all along.
Makes sense. I agree. Makes sense.
Because no matter how you look at it, yeah, no matter how you look at it, personally, Starkiller, first he was meant to take down Sidious. So instead of doing, oh god, here we go. Instead of doing this bullshit they did with the last trilogy, why not canonize Starkiller and walk us through his storyline and have him have been off trying to find peace? And it's like, oh, we've heard rumors of, of a Sith rebel in a sense, someone who, was strong enough who was trained by Vader, but strong enough to take down Sidious. If we find him, he may be able to help us, finally take down Sidious and take down and at least limit to control the dark side.
Right.
And then we could have ran it from there.
Or here's another thing, because Grand Admiral Thrawn with his troops, they're like fucking zombies.
Oh shit, yeah.
So it's like they might need someone who's a dark side user or has knowledge of the dark side to combat that threat. But once again, if there is no quote unquote active Sith in the universe, they need who else would be better than Ahsoka, like meditating on the situation, and then Anakin going, well, there is somebody, but he's not going to be eager to help you. Like, there's a dark side user who's still active in the Force, and you know where he is, and you haven't said anything. Yeah, it's kind of a long story. Here we go.
Ooh, that would have been nice to have that. That would have also drawn a wedge between them a little bit more. It's like, really, even after me, you decided to train someone else in the dark side. You
and then you failed them.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's when it's revealed, and that's when he ends up revealing, no, this was my plan from the beginning, type shit.
Yeah, like she meets him and is like, Anakin Skywalker sent me, and he's like, who's Anakin Skywalker? And then he sees him, but instead of seeing Anakin, he sees Vader.
Exactly. And that's where, and for him, that's where the path becomes clear for him too.
Like, the fight, I couldn't avoid this fight if I tried to. It's my purpose. It's who I am.
Yup. Definitely. So before we head on out here, like any final remarks on the Star Wars universe in a whole? Excuse me.
Oh, serve no master that is greater than your own ambition.
That's so. Any final remarks on Star Wars, or it's something that you would like to see within this universe, this new universe?
Get rid of the other fucking canon. Plain and simple. Get rid of those last 3 damn movies.
And I feel like they could fucking they could
they assassinated Luke's character. It's good character assassination.
Mm-hmm.
So bad that the actor said he'll never play that character again.
Mm-hmm.
No. Just no. Just get rid of that whole thing in general. Throw it out. You throw out the books. They should just focus stayed in the damn books and just made.
Mm-hmm.
Books made more sense than that shit. Having a random Palpatine baby. Like,
Yeah,
what?
random ass Palpatine baby. Made no
Like,
goddamn
what?
sense.
Who would anyone go anywhere near that old man? Like, what?
Oh, a
So
young woman looking for power, has ambition, need her bills paid. There's a lot of ways I can go with this. I'm just saying.
I mean, he could have, just been swiping through the Galactic Tinder, you know, you know, powerful senator looking for young, like young, thriving, woman to carry on the rest of the galaxy with.
Right? Like, oh, aren't you the Galactic Chancellor?
Yeah, Chancellor, these nuts, get over here. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he ended up finding, and this part also don't make no sense for me too. If it's cloning is pretty much essentially been perfected, he could have his child, his son, instead of doing this whole shit, he could have just had his son end up pretty much being his successor, had him been his successor. And as a clone, because clearly he used the cloning in order to make a younger him. So it just would have made more sense to have the younger clone take over as him. The same idea that Vader had, essentially, getting into a body that's more usable.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't make sense.
yeah, and instead of having to wait until his clone son has a child and using that child to then become, it's overly convoluted.
Yep.
There's too many steps. Too many steps. For me, honestly, you guys fucking covered it for me, really. That's that shit. You guys, that's pretty much everything I was going to say.
Get rid of that shit.
Yeah, so
Terrible. It's fucking terrible. Because right now they're building a good thing in the background, but we know eventually we're gonna have to go back to that bullshit.
yeah, because everything they're doing right now, they already said they're basing everything that they're doing off the Old Republic before Episode 1.
But eventually they're gonna have to go back and they're gonna continue the story.
Exactly. So hopefully, if they, if they're thinking maybe have, set up something that happens before Episode 1, and then have it cycle back in and connect into what they're gonna do in the future.
And then that damn bait switch with fucking Finn was fucking stupid.
Oh my god, they did our community so dirty with that shit.
What shit?
Finn should have been the Jedi.
Oh, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't. Why? What would it have mattered?
Well, one,
Billy D.
it wouldn't have been
Listen,
that convoluted.
It wasn't just a random Mary fucking Sue.
listen. That doesn't make me feel better. Finn was a whole bitch. His character was a whole bitch. He never. No, absolutely not. So let's just look at the Star Wars universe real quick. So they introduced Billy D. Williams. They made Billy D. Williams a whole fucking traitor. Samuel L. Jackson, master of the Shatterpoint, master of the Vapad, 7 form flavor lightsaber combat, gets his arm cut off for force pushed out of a window. We never see him again. Okay, Finn holds his own, who has never even fucking held a lightsaber before, against Kylo Ren, who should have been able to take his hat off within seconds.
And that's what I'm saying. That part right there, that should have never happened either way, whether it be Rey or Finn.
Neither one of them should have beat him in a fight, whether he was wounded or not. Just
at all.
didn't make sense.
It didn't, but I still feel like they should have already done away with the Skywalker line. You know what I mean? That was already wrapped up in a nice tight bow. They already wrapped that shit up in a nice tight bow. But to now start beating the fucking dead horse with the Skywalker Palpatine battle made no sense.
You want to know what
it
made that
should have been
okay
a
to
whole
me?
new shit.
Well,
Go
what
ahead.
made that okay to me is if they actually let Ray be evil.
Mm-hmm.
If they had actually let them to rule the universe as Supreme Admiral Ren and Lady Palpatine, I'd have been Gucci with that. That's the only way that would have made sense to me.
Last minute turn this thing into the light side, last minute, and the whole that whole spell's fucking
Like
rushed.
the only good fucking scene in that trilogy was the whole fucking lightsaber switch through the Force. That shit was cool. That was the coolest shit that I've seen in a long time when it came to Star Wars.
Yeah, their connection was also it wasn't weird, but it wasn't. I don't know.
It didn't really make too much sense. Well, more so, I feel like they didn't explain it very well. I feel like that's what it was with that situation. They didn't really explain their connection too well. I would have liked it as they were both I would have liked it as they would have kept it with the books where Han and Leia had twins, one went the dark route, one went the light route. And that's why they had the connection that they had. Because they were twins. That would have made so much sense to me.
I agree. That would have made more sense. I agree, but like that also. But they're. I don't know, man, because I feel like they keep trying to do shit for shock and awe instead of doing shit to set up the universe and tell the story.
Yes, absolutely.
That's Star Wars at this point.
Yeah. Yep, that really is.
How much shock and awe can we get?
That's pretty much fucking everything.
No,
that's pretty much everything at this point.
It makes sense, damn it. Make it make sense.
No, I definitely agree, but that's pretty much fucking everything at this point. Everything is about shock and awe. The amount of shows that I've watched where like I watch it for a good amount of time, they have like a decent number of seasons, and then next thing you know, they throw a fucking monkey wrench and everything just to give you the shock and awe factor because the show's starting to decline.
Did you just fucking say they jumped the shark?
Exactly.
Yes.
No, but it definitely makes sense because the show would be in decline, and the reaching kind of like the end of the show, where at least where the end of the show should have been. But they're like, no, we want to make more money, so they try to squeeze more out of it by flipping the script, throwing a plot twist, throwing a monkey wrench in, or jumping the shark just to add more and keep going with it. So, yeah, I don't know. It's media has been.
I would have been fine if they just filled in the holes from the other movies. I would have been fine with just filling the holes. Fill in the holes.
Yeah.
Do stuff from before the other thing. Do Old Republic stuff. Fine. Don't go past the fucking. Don't go past.
Yeah, they should have went past. Exactly.
Fill in the holes.
That's what they did with the prequels.
Go back, because you can go backwards because there's no things about backwards. Forward,
And like I said before, they have 25,000 years of lore.
They can add stuff, but at least they have a damn thing to write off of. At least they got a thing. At least they got a rules they have to obey to make everything else make sense.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Nope. Nope. Of course not. But yeah, no, Star Wars, Disney, Lucasfilms, get your shit together. You have a fucking gold mine and you are soiling it. You're taking a shit on your pillow. You're Amber Herding it. You're taking a shit on your own pillow.
Shit.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. In the words of Michael Jordan, stop it. Get some help. Get some damn help. You know what they need to do to get that help? Just let Dave Filoni take it over. Let Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni handle it. They've been doing an amazing fucking job so far with the shows. Let them handle it. Give them full control. Give them full fucking control over Star Wars.
Shit.
And bring George Lucas back.
Feige. They said they want someone like Kevin Feige running the Star Wars division. You got it already.
You got it already. They've been doing it all along. But they don't want to give credit where credit's due.
That's Disney for you.
Yep.
That's the
But yeah. Before we head on out, let's hear from our podcast friends one more time, and then we're gonna head on out.
Going on, everybody, Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics here, and we'd like to introduce you guys to our show, The Indie Breakdown, a show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an eventual indie versus matchup. All Indie Breakdown episodes go live first on Spotify and on Patreon, with them eventually showing up on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out The Indie Breakdown and learn more from your favorite indie comic book creators, now's the time to do so. We hope you guys decide to tune in, and remember, until next time, midnight is coming.
Hi, I go by Lady Mandalore, the creator of Roomful of Blurs. Do you have a whiteboard in your room? Do people get a glazed over look in their eye when you start to explain things to them? Well, come join me every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can talk comics and get to know some new creators of color, only on YouTube and Twitch.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Calvin, from the Icarus Podcast, and I just want to say that we got new episodes coming next Saturday and every Saturday after that. So all I will have to say from here is keep enjoying the show. You can check us out, www.icarusmetrocomics.com. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and more. See y'all next time.
All right, and that has been the Super Breakdown. Tune in next week. Who you want to go over next week, Triage?
Next week we can go, because we already went over Ahsoka. So next week, let's go over Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, sweet. That would also give me time to rewatch Kenobi. See, so check it out. I want to rewatch Kenobi in Japanese.
Why?
Because I've heard clips of it in Japanese, and the sound, like, it just sounds like oh my god, it sounds so, like, Vader sounds so much more like menacing in Japanese.
Oh my god.
Yep, I've seen clips where people they've watched it in Japanese, and it just sounds so much fucking more menacing, man. So yeah, definitely that fuck it. Let's go over Kenobi. Yeah, there's just so many damn characters to fucking go over. There's so many amazing ass characters within the Star Wars universe to go over. So I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be kind of tough picking. I know for a fact we will be going over Darth Bane. We 100% will be going over Darth Bane. And that's gonna be a long episode like this. So get ready, y'all. Level 7s. Just want to thank y'all for tuning in again. Tune in next week, going over Kenobi. And always remember, peace is a lie. There's only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. And victory,
My chains are broken.
absolutely. May the force be with y'all. Happy Star Wars month.